Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake.
Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of We Are Not Alone. We're talking with Stephen Bassett today and Dan Harary of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. And we are talking about Disclosure Day and even the age of disclosure. When that documentary came out a couple of months ago, groundbreaking, everyone is wondering, well, is a head of state or somebody going to say something that we have had contact with, intelligent, whatever? Lord Trump just said the other day on a podcast that she's pretty sure her father-in-law, Donald Trump, has already a speech written and put aside for the time that he will need to talk about the possibility or not of extraterrestrial life.
I think my father-in-law has actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's going to break out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak.
President Barack Obama said the other day that aliens are real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
And then he had to clarify that and say, well, I haven't had any experiences or I have no evidence of it, but they're real. So a lot of this is in the news, especially with the age of disclosure. And now with Disclosure Day. Stephen, you being a disclosure expert, Why is this movie important now? I mean, you've been involved in this for 30 years and talk about ETs and UFOs and UAPs have gone back at least 80 years, if not to the Bible, to the Old Testament. Why all this energy now, Stephen?
Essentially, for 80 years, going all the way back to Roswell, regular people, citizens, have engaged this issue because it's all over. It's flying around in the sky. And as we know, there's contact going on in the form of what we call abduction or contactees. The government, of course, made a decision early on that this would be embargoed, right, for national security reasons. And so 80 years is going on in which citizens, scientists and researchers and documentarists and journalists, but not the professionals, just regular people forming organizations, have been pushing this issue forward, trying to ultimately bring the government to do the right thing, which is to end the truth embargo. And we're just about there. And as we get close to the goal, things are popping up all over the place. It's like when you're boiling water, right? As it's approaching full boil, you start seeing bubbles coming up here, there, and what have you. And the thing is about to go boom. And we're seeing a number of manifestations. Spielberg's decision to do this movie and time it now is one of those. There is a reason, I believe, that Barack Obama made the statement he did in that thing, and I can go into that if you want to. And, of course, there's things happening on Capitol Hill. The HDA is growing because Hollywood and the film industry, even some of the top people like Dan Farah, are seeing, hey, it's all happening. And so something huge is going to happen, and across the spectrum, people are reacting and doing what they got to do, and it's a little overwhelming. But it's also indicative of the fact that we're about to end this embargo. Now, in terms of the movie, all the stuff that you see in the trailer is to get people in there and to show you, hey, it's right. Going to be fun.
We're interrupting our coverage. There has been a threat to publicly release government material long shrouded in secrecy.
What he doesn't show in that trailer is the ending, and the ending is the key. In Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you had a lot of drama and so forth, and got you into it. But what was the ending? The ending is you have a craft come down. It's not really disclosure, but it comes down to a group of I guess you could say, scientists and government people. Spectacular event. Ultimately, some humans get on the craft and off they go. That's pretty good. It's not really disclosure, but it is a pretty good ending, and it left people on a high. I think he's got something planned along those lines. Disclosure Day is obviously more than just a craft showing up at Devil's Mountain. So the ending is very important. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of Barack Obama, let me me just say that Barack Obama was fully aware of the ET issue. He's fully aware of disclosure.
Wow. Wow.
He's connected to John Podesta. John Podesta worked for him in his last a year in office. He was also his co-chair. John Podesta is hooked all the way back to the Rockefeller Initiative in 93 and 95. And John Podesta was involved in creating a coalition for freedom of information. He's worked with Leslie Kean. John Podesta, the conduit between the Rockefeller Initiative and the going forward through time. And so there's no question that Obama is aware of this. And so the idea that he would just absolutely kind of misspeak in a kind of a rapid question thing that they do.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
And say aliens are real? No, not a chance. So he says it, and then he backs out the next day. What just happened? Here's what I think happened. Barack Obama basically put a shot across the president's bow, meaning, I'm not the president, but I am an ex-president. And if I were to come forward and confirm the extraterrestrial presence, while it wouldn't be disclosure as it is needed, but boy, it would light a fire and you would almost certainly have to follow. Only you would be second to me, right? And so that is something that I think the advisors to the president took note of. But then he walked it back. Why? Because while he might have had a purpose for making that statement, aliens are real, it is inappropriate for ex-presidents to get involved in major issues of a current president. And they don't do that.
The aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Right? They keep silent. And there's a lot of things happening they could speak to. So in a sense, he was violating a kind of a protocol. So he needed to walk it back. And so he did. But yet he put it out there. And let me tell you something. I monitor the news. Hundreds of articles around the world have been written about that single thing. Aliens are real, by the former president. And so, again, the pressure to end this embargo grows every day. And I believe the president of the United States, for a number of reasons we don't have time to go into, I think the president is going to do this. Exactly what happens in the final days, I don't know. But there's too much coming together at one time. And the president, therefore, may be in a good position to come forward and confirm the extraterrestrial presence and be the head of state that gets one of the greatest legacies in the history of heads of state. And God bless him, because 13 other presidents of both parties wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so now it falls to him.
Well, Disclosure Day, just the trailer, it's just creepy, and is it going to scare people? And sometimes people get confused. What is fiction? What is nonfiction? What is based on reality? What is inspired by reality? What is just pure sci-fi? Is this going to, I know we can't wait to go see the movie, but is this going to scare people?
Look, we have seen 600 films with ETs in them have been out there. Some of them are really, really scary. No. Oh, I think it'll definitely get their attention. But the awareness of this issue and the knowledge about this issue is really worldwide. And most people are watching this film with a substantial understanding of the idea of ETs and what have you. And so it'll be a little intense. But again, it's about the ending. How does it end? And I'm going to suggest that Mr. Spielberg is going to end this in a way that people are walking out in the theater going, wow, that was something. Well, so I don't worry about being scared. It's okay. Wait for the ending.
I just hope it touches my heart like E.T. did, because E.T., my favorite movie of all time, and so sweet and precious. Dan Harary, we need to talk to you a little bit. You are an experiencer. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Dan Harary of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance is going to tell us how his experience perhaps molded him into who he is today and led to the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of We Are Not Alone. We're talking about Disclosure Day, the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Dan Harary is joining us with Stephen Bassett. Dan, you are an experiencer. Can you tell us briefly what happened to you and how that put you on your trajectory today to be a founder of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance?
Sure. I'm a 4-time UFO experiencer. 2 of those 4 times were, I'm going to say, interactive. The first one, MayCay, was the most remarkable one. I was 13. My father and I saw a huge silver V craft in New Jersey, in my neighborhood where I grew up, in daytime, hovering over my father's car. We stood, looked at it up in the air, huge, each wing was like two school buses long, that big, shiny silver. My father looked at it with no expression on his face of any kind, and I was jumping up and down. Dad, it's Star Trek. Dad, look, it's Star Trek. This is 1970. Okay, that was the first one. Second one, I saw a UFO with my son out in the desert. Not a huge deal. It was cool, though. The third one, I saw a big black craft at the East Eddy Ranch in Washington State with 200 people. It was a CE5 event, MayCay. And CE5 is when a bunch of people go outside and just send out good vibrations into the sky and invite ETs and NHI to show up. A huge craft came, green light beamed down over us, 200 people on the ground, beautiful emerald green light. And during the light, it was like Morse code. And I heard in my heart, we love you. Don't be afraid. We love mankind. We're here to help planet Earth. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourselves. And then that craft vanished. Okay, that was that one. And then another one I saw at Contact in the Desert. The sighting I had with my father, I forgot about for 47 years. Wow. 3 days after my father died, I went to a deli in L.A. to get a sandwich, and a beam of light hit me in the head. And that event, and I swear to God, and Stephen knows this is true, a beam hit me in the head, and out through my eyes was projected the 1970 UFO sighting that I'd had 47 years earlier with my father. It played like a home movie. Now, I believe my father sent that to me from heaven. It turns out my father was involved in reverse engineering of UFOs for the Army. He never told anyone during his life. I've researched him, and I believe that to be the case. After that happened at the deli, I wrote my book after they came, and then I met Stephen, and then everything happened after that. I became the publicist for Contact in the Desert. Stephen and I created the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. I created the WOW signal, which has become one of the world's leading UFO news resources, the wowsignal.news. I say that I was invited in. I was invited in after my UFO experiences.
And we only have a few minutes left. What does that mean to me? I know that sounds selfish, or to people watching who may think, well, okay, you had that experience, good for you. What does it mean for all of us out there who are just not sure?
Some major person goes on TV tonight or tomorrow, aliens are real, we've known for 80 years, we're not alone. That's what Stephen's been working for 30 years, capital D disclosure. Another way would be if the extraterrestrials, disclose themselves, like Independence Day, but they don't kill us, hopefully. And then the third one, MayCay, this will answer your question. Myself, I'm personally friends with at least 50 experiencers, like Costa, like Mark Lenmore, like people that you've had on your show, MayCay. I'm friends with more and more and more experiencers are coming forward. Goldie Hawn came out last year. Goldie Hawn's an experiencer. Fran Drescher's an experiencer. A lot of famous people are experiencers. So more and more, and hopefully at some point, enough experiencers will come forward to turn the table, and just people will know, yeah, I guess there really is something here happening.
Okay, for folks that want to know more about the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, where do they look? How do they get in touch with you?
Go to it's HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org. It's all about our mission. It's everything Stephen and I hope to accomplish. It's all of our members are there, 250. We have Shirley MacLaine. We have Willie Nelson, Thomas Jane. Wow. Thomas Jane, the movie star, is very, very active.
Wow.
And you can donate. We're a nonprofit. And if you want to join, there's the instructions on that, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org.
Lots to talk about, but first, let's take a peek at Steven Spielberg's trailer, Disclosure Day.
We're interrupting our coverage. There has been a threat to publicly release government material long shrouded in secrecy.
Are they people? No. Do you think there could be others?
People have a right to know the truth.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world, all at once.
If you do this, there's no undoing it.
There will be no other day like tomorrow.
Okay, does that give you the heebie-jeebies? Does that pique your curiosity? This is what we're looking at, Disclosure Day, Stephen Spielberg. This trailer aired during the Super Bowl, 125 million viewers. We are here to talk about Disclosure today, and our guests are Stephen Bassett and Dan Harary of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. And Stephen is very well known as a UFO disclosure activist, and Dan Harary is very well known as an experiencer, an author, and a publicist to many of the stars. And what do you think of this trailer?
Well, the trailer is what you do to get millions of people to come to the film without question. And millions will. I mean, this film is going to do several $billion. But there is a complex past here, which in limited time, it's hard to convey. But Stephen Spielberg is not obviously new to this subject. His film E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Close Encounters of a Third Kind, these were groundbreaking films in a way. This goes way back. And then, of course, many have forgotten this. There was the 20-hour series, Taken, which was a fictional series that gets into contact, essentially abduction, as well as the truth embargo. So Steven Spielberg is fully aware of the political process underway all along. He has not engaged it directly. That's fine. But he's done his part. Now, was he following the disclosure process? Most certainly. Is he following the political developments in Washington? Absolutely. So he makes a decision. He's going to make a major film. Fine. It's kept very tight. Nothing was coming out at all. As tight as any film that I'm aware of. All you knew was a working title, and it was called The Dish. But then after a number of months, they changed it, which they do, to Disclosure. And when I heard that, I said, okay, he is going to make a play here, something significant. But what will it be? What will the final title be? So while that film is being done or being completed, very significant things are happening in Washington, D.C. on this issue. And so ultimately, he picks when he wants it to run, and he wants it to come out in June. He projects that out about 7 months, which I think he was calculating something big could happen, right, by then. And it's turning out that may very well be the case. And if that thing that I'm thinking of happens, I don't know how many $1 billion that film is going to do. But and that's great. I want it to do extremely well. But and then of course the fact that he calls it Disclosure Day, I've got to say I'm pleased about that. I would also like about 0.5% of the gross. That's not much. It's a reasonable amount because I came up with Disclosure Day. He could be using it in the sense that I use it, which is Confirmation Day. Or he could use it in the sense of Information Day coming out. But it's almost certainly Confirmation Day in that sense. Confirmation to the world, maybe not from the head of state. We don't know how it ends. But that is what I came up with in 2000 in order to give this to get the right language in play and to give the activist movement and people something to focus on, which is confirmation from heads of state, which would be the end of the truth embargo, without question. I even came up with a website and came forward with the idea of World Disclosure Day. I did that about 20 years ago. World Disclosure Day. Thank you, Stephen. Just Zell me, that 1/4%. I'll send you my email for that. So that's just a quick take on this. This is not an accident. Mr. Spielberg is making his mark. He knows what's going on, and that just makes it that much likely that this is the year that the truth embargo ends. I feel increasingly more confident every day.
I want to bring Dan Harary in because the two of you have come up with the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Dan, tell us what that is and why this matters today.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much for having both of us. I think this might be the first time we've both done this together, I think. We've done stuff on stage, but not, I don't think, on a podcast. 3 years ago, I went to UFO Con in San Francisco. It's a UFO convention. I went with my brother, and Stephen was the keynote speaker, and Stephen spoke about disclosure. I had never heard that term, MayCay, used in conjunction with UFO disclosure. I didn't know that was a thing. So my brother and I sat there. Stephen did his show in Dog and Pony show for about 90 minutes. And my brother goes, Dan, this guy's amazing. You got to talk to this guy. So after Stephen's lecture, I went up to him at the dinner at the hotel, and I gave him my book, and we exchanged business cards. 2 months later, May 2023, we had a long lunch in Hollywood. He said, Dan, I'm a disclosure guy. Now, side note, I've been a Hollywood publicist for 42 years. So he goes, I'm a disclosure guy. You're a Hollywood guy, Dan. What can we do together? So at that point, I remembered 30 years earlier, I had done PR for something called the Environmental Media Association, MayCay. And that was first of its kind, networking major environmental scientists and researchers and environmental advocates with Hollywood writers, producers, and directors. And they encouraged environmental safety messages in films and TV shows. So when Stephen said that, I remembered that, and I came up with, I said, Stephen, we're going to create the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. It just came to me. It was a light bulb moment in my life. We shook hands. Stephen said, that's it. That's it. That's exactly right. All that summer, 2023, he and I put together our friends, our relatives, my daughter, our colleagues, top researchers in the world, major authors, major famous experiencers, Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber, Kathleen Marden, her aunt and uncle were Betty and Barney Hill. We put together everyone we know, and Stephen came up brilliantly with, because I kept asking him, Stephen, what is it? What is it? He goes, the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance is a networking group. And that was the key, MayCay, networking. That's what took us months and months to come up with. It's a networking group that blends and merges together UAP experiencers, researchers, and people like Stephen with Hollywood writers, producers, and directors to influence the next era of movies, TV shows, and documentaries. We launched at the end of 2023. And today we have 250 members around the world, and we've done a lot of great events, and we have a bunch of films and projects and things happening. So it's just a very, very cool thing that Stephen and I happened to meet at that time.
Well, Dan, what fascinates me is the timing of all of this, because it just seems like the world is on the precipice of something. So we can feel it. And of course, Stephen Bassett was the first ever UFO disclosure activist and lobbyist. What message do you want to leave everyone with tonight?
Look, here is what's happening. I'm going to be speaking at Conscious Life Expo tomorrow at LAX Hilton. Then I'm speaking at UFO Con in March. And then I'm speaking at the Ozark Mountain Conference in April. And the message I'm providing is very basic. More than enough has been accomplished. Infrastructure has been created. Legislation, witnesses coming forward, congressional hearings, massive media coverage. More than enough for our president to step out tomorrow, and he could, and end this embargo. Almost 80 years on, and I'm suggesting people start thinking that way. I believe that this is the year. It can't come too soon. And one of the most important things about it is that all of the effort has been nonpartisan. The members of Congress and others have made it clear that this is a nonpartisan issue. They pursue it together. They don't attack each other. And that is wonderful. And so if that helps us get back to a more normal political reality, great. But disclosure of the ET presence, finally, this is the year. And that's the message I'm going to be giving out.
All right. Thank you so much. Oh, Stephen Bassett and Dan Harary of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Get ready, everyone. They say disclosure is coming. For We're Not Alone at Queen City News Plus, I'm MayCay Beeler. Thank you so much for joining us.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.